Friends, hello. Welcome to season 2 of the Awakening Empire podcast. I am Kayla, the host of the show. And if this is your first time here, I just wanted to let you guys know what the mission is of this show and what my mission is just doing this. It is my most sincere passion and desire to serve others and guide them to be the best version of themselves, because I think that the world that we're living in is overwhelmingly broken emotionally and mentally. And so I'm going to dedicate my life to lead the majority and be the beacon of hope that people need to repair and restore their shattered interior. So thank you so much for being here. If you've been here before, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited for another season of growth, evolution, and change with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into season 2 with a topic that is very important to me. So today I wanted to speak on the fact that as a society, we have got to stop seeking approval from others to boost our self-worth. I've noticed a lot in the past 18 months, actually, that, as I've gone under this growth journey and just evolving in my own being, I've really noticed that people are just not able to disassociate opinion from fact because they put so much weight on other people's words. It's like humans truly believe that they are more worthy when they're measured by other people's opinions. And through repetition and continued exposure to this kind of mindset where people need reassurance and validation from an external source, you can fall into a really dark place where you are no longer able to take pride in what you think of yourself to be an accurate representation of who you are. Did you get that? When you are continuously exposed to the ideology that you are to be measured by someone else's opinion of you, you lose the ability. You are no longer able to take pride in what you think of yourself as an accurate representation of who you are. Because you're not valuing you, you're valuing the idea of you from another person. And so that's really damaging, especially when you're continuously giving yourself the ability to be in that mindset. Because technically, because the mind is so powerful, you choose the life that you lead. Because we all have the ability to be in a certain mindset or to not be in a mindset. And so if you're consciously choosing to be in a mindset where you need and crave and only feel worthy when you are measured by somebody else's opinion of you, that's technically what you're choosing, even if you hate that you choose it. And so when you're constantly exposing yourself to that mentality and that mindset, it just continuously repeats over time. And over time, you continuously lose more and more of a representation of who you are. And that's why I think a lot of people live in this world having an idea of who they are, but actually not even knowing the potential of who they really are inside. Because who you are is underneath everything that you suppress and all of your issues and all of your trauma and all of your unresolved conflict. And so if you continue to bury those things down and then measure your worth by somebody else's opinion, you are just a caricature of a person. You don't even know who you really are if you're suppressing all of who you could be inside. You're layering issues and trauma and conflict on top of your genuine happiness and purpose within. And you're using external forces to help you balance the issues that you have inside and the external outside forces to hopefully lift your spirits up. And so you're not even really who you could be because you use other people and their opinions and the suppression of your issues to create an identity of somebody that you're really not. So it gets very complicated and it gets very scary because I think a lot of people, maybe even you, are living as a caricature because you haven't valued life for yourself yet. You've suppressed so much. You've allowed external forces to come in so much. And so you lost yourself and you don't even know who you don't even know who you are. So it's really scary. And I push this so much to Let's uncover the issues. Let's uncover the hardship. Let's get to a place where we are growing mentally and emotionally so that we are strong and intelligent in our mindset and in our perspective and in everything. Because why live life not living who you could be and who you really are inside because of everything that you've buried and everything that you've allowed within your circle and in your environment from other people that are not yourself. So this is just such a big problem, okay? And it really demands you, if you want to change this problem, you really have to deploy self-awareness. Because as you guys know, or maybe you don't know what really self-awareness is. And self-awareness, essentially is developed through practices in focusing your attention on the details of your personality and behavior. So when you begin consciously practicing self-awareness, you can evaluate, your values and your passions and your goals and how they fit into your current environment and those emotions. And then you can begin to align them better. So, if that's confusing, the way I like to think of it is when we're talking about self-awareness, we're really talking about the evaluation, the consistent observation and self-auditing ourselves to recognize the patterns of our behavior and our reactions and our actions. And so as we identify these things about ourselves, we can begin recognizing the difference between who we think we are, right, because of external forces and things we suppressed, versus who we really are, right? Everything that's buried within us that you have to look within and you have to dig up all the hardship and master that and get to that so that you can be in a better mindset, so that you can be who you really are meant to be and who you're supposed to be. Right. And then so when we identify those things and we identify our weaknesses and our strengths and our behavior and all that, when we identify that, we can proceed transformation. We can begin aligning ourselves in the direction that we want to go in as we learn how to be the best version of ourselves by exposing who we really are versus who we think we are. So that's really what self-awareness is. And it's really, really important. It's probably one of the most important things that I've mastered in my growth journey over the past 18 months. It's like, as you master this self-awareness, this mental awareness, you're aware of everything that is going on in you and you can feel it and you can start realizing what you want and what you don't want, what you want to extract or put into your life. You're actually able to find the glory in releasing the need of other people to find your worth. I promise you the best way to stop being hurt and let down on this earth is to stop the constant reliance on external forces for approval of you. To me, it is just one of the most dangerous and harmful ways to live because what if, okay, stay with me here. What if they measure you incorrectly? What if they measure you a little shorter than you really are? And then you end up living your whole life believing you're a single planet when you're actually the whole damn galaxy. Does that make sense to you? Like, it's such a bold risk to give permission to an outsider who has an uncontextualized opinion and look into your life. And they get to measure your worth and your abilities. You are risking it all. This one life for what? To avoid judgment and criticism and failure? It's not worth it. It's just not worth it to be an orbiting planet when you can literally control the universe. Please don't limit yourself the way that many people do limit their one life for other people. Okay, and this is also so dangerous because it's an undeniably selfish way to live. And yet you might think it may be a very selfless, non-egotistical way to live because it's a really great way to measure your worth because you're not being narcissistic about it. But you're wrong. People are broken because they'd rather give the world the chance to define their value than to look inside and work and get right mentally to find it for themselves. When you need people's reassurance, you become solely a person who takes. You take their advice, you take their word, you take their opinion, you take their measurements of you. You take their evaluation of you. You take and you take and you take. Enough is enough. Like, why aren't you good enough for yourself? You have to explain that to me because I don't get it. You have got to grow. You have to be better mindfully and your perspective and within your humility and your vulnerability and everything. You have to grow. You have to be better mentally because you can't continue living this way where you rely on people's reassurance and their measurement of your worth. It's faulty. It's a faulty, dangerous, toxic, harmful, limiting way to live. And I know it's a really challenging ideology to break through to people because, as I said, the mass majority of human beings are broken, emotionally and mentally. So when someone says something motivating, when someone feels motivated, like if you're getting motivated by this, you're getting pumped up, you're like, yeah, screw what people think, I don't care. You're going to be on a high, on a motivation high, for about 24, 36 hours. And you hustle and you're going to grind, you're going to be fully ambitious, you're going to get ready to change until the motivation crashes and depletes. Because then you go back and you riddle yourself back into your broken mental state. This is what happens in business. This is what happens in mindset coaching and everything. This is just how life is. You get motivated for a few hours, a couple days, and then it riddles away because for this reason that I'm about to share with you. Because this is why I plead to people to initiate habit and discipline themselves on those initiated habits, because you cannot depend on motivation. You can only depend on habits that have been initiated. It's very similar to working out, eating well, right? People get on a high for a couple weeks starting in January. Motivation starts draining within a couple weeks, and then they're back to square one. Right? But if you really, really are serious and you dedicate each day to continue to instill positive, obtainable structure and discipline through habit initiation, you can succeed long term. But you have to want it. You have to care. Right? Like, you can't change somebody who doesn't want to change. Like, I can sit here all day and tell you how to change, but I can't make anybody change. I can only make people think. And that's frustrating for me, but it is what it is. But as long as if I can guide people to want to initiate habit for the long-term success of their mental state, then I won. I think it's the same principle that Gary Vaynerchuk talked about in terms of patience. He says macro patience, micro speed. So this is that kind of idea where you have to be fast every day. Like, you have to work your guts out every single day. You have to utilize all of the hours that you're awake and optimize success through that practicality. But in the big picture of life, you have to be patient in the process, and you have to be diligent, and you have to give yourself time to reap the success as it's meant to rule out with your initiated structure. And I really think that this can be applied to a lot of things in life, especially when it comes to habit forming and trying to maintain a well-balanced, healthy mindset that doesn't crumble at the sight of criticism, judgment, hate, doubt, failure, whatever it is. Like, every single day, if you work up a plentiful appetite to restructure the stability and health of your mind by dedicating to the work it takes to truly change from the inside out, while simultaneously deploying patience and discipline to maintain the habits that you instill within you over the duration of how much ever time it takes, like let's just say a year, you will be successful, and you will have evolved because you valued the journey. You respected the amount of time it took to achieve it, and you depended solely on habit to change you and not the onset adrenaline rush of motivation that spiked in you every couple of weeks. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in and hear my thoughts on this topic. Please let me know how you feel about self-awareness, macro patience, micro speed. And you can let me know either on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We did get a new Facebook page, by the way. It's Awakening Empire. I'll link it down below. Lots of links down there these days. But you can talk to me wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable. You can check out our YouTube for smaller audio clips. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I wish you all the best. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless you all. See you next time.